Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind, Transform Your Life radio, podcast, and television show. I'm your host, Life Coach Renee Young, and sitting in the guest chair today is Ginny Gane. Ginny is a law of attraction coach and author, and today we are going to be speaking on the topic, understanding vibrational energy and the law of attraction, which is one of my favorite topics, because I believe that if you are praying and if you are wanting more in life, then you have to engage the law of attraction. And a lot of people don't understand that how important their vibrational energy is, because your vibrations bring you good as well as bad. And that's what Ginny and I are going to be focusing on. So definitely stay tuned. Welcome, Ginny.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I even when you said those few first words, I'm already getting excited because you nailed it perfectly. Like most of us just don't understand that there's a vibrational component to everything that happens in life. So everything we see, everything that we're seeing and experiencing around us, there's a vibrational component.
Yeah.
And then so because we're vibrations as well, like inside our human body, and we can feel that within our energy, even that's how we get to interact with the world around us. That's what gives us this sense of influence over creating our own reality and what's happening in our reality, because at that foundational level, we are all vibration.
Yes, that's amazing. So yeah, I can't wait to get into it. Yeah. All right. Well, before we get into it, let me give you a short bio on Ginny so that you can understand a foundation of what she teaches. For more than a decade, Ginny Gane has been working intimately with manifestos and empowering women around the world to transform mediocre lives into experiences of true abundance, joy, love, through leveraging principles of the law of attraction. Ginny has a degree in kinesiology. Is going to mess this up. Kinesiology.
Kinesiology.
Thank you. All right, and years of experience as a law of attraction coach. She's a best-selling author and the founder of LOA Skills Camp. She's been guiding individuals in virtually every area you can think of, from creating six-figure businesses, leaving unhealthy relationships, aligning with true love relationships, creating harmonious parent-child relationships, and so many more. One of the beliefs core to Ginny's heart is we can be, do, or have anything we desire, which is why she is so passionate about the law of attraction and leveraging our vibrational power. Because this serves as a vehicle for more empowered individuals and therefore more love, harmony, and freedom in this world. Yes. All right. So we are going to rock this conversation today. We're also going to talk a little bit about Abraham Hicks and her teachings, which is where I started my law of attraction training. So as we both said already, I absolutely believe in the power of it. I absolutely believe in the teachings of Abraham Hicks. So Ginny, start us off by telling us how you got into this work and how you got into this business. Maybe you have a real nice law of attraction and vibrational story.
Well, I do kind of have a fun story about this. I was introduced, I've always been in self-improvement. Like I've been reading all the books, Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, Deepak Chopra. I got introduced all this very young and to understanding the power of my mind very young. But I was still kind of, this lost soul, figuring out who I was and what I wanted to do. I was traveling in Australia for a year on my own, and the law of attraction part of this. So there was one day and I was feeling so like, oh, what's going on? What am I doing? I have no money, blah, blah, blah. And I was calling my parents and I said, just having a conversation with them. And they said, oh, you should, really read this book. It's called The Power of Your Emotions by Abraham Hicks. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, guys. Okay. And so I hung up the phone and I picked up my backpack. I'm going to walk back to my hostel. And it was an outdoor mall. And I was walking along past a bookstore. And you know how bookstores have that like table that they put out in the front?
Right.
So what do you think? Which book was sitting on?
Amazing.
Yeah. And I
I
was like,
love that.
oh my goodness, like this
Yes.
cannot be a coincidence. And I looked it over and I'm like, it's $35. I'm like, no, I can eat for a year on that. I mean, a week.
That's a lot of money for a book. I guess it's
So
because it's in
I
Australia.
walked away. And then there was just something that was like, no, you need to get that. And so I went and I bought it. And then as soon as I read that book, it was the piece I was looking for. You know, it was the explanation, it was the understanding of, it's what allowed me to feel empowered about my life and have some idea of control over it, versus like things can't just happen to us. Like there must be something more, you know, then I must be able to choose in some other way other than just working hard to get what I want, or just taking what life gives me in a way, you know? And so that is really how I got started. And I had never, ever thought about it in a business. I just loved it. It clicked. I got it. I started using it in my life. And then it was a few years later when a friend of mine said to me, hey, you're basically my law of attraction coach. And I said, what's that? Like, what does that mean? And I had no idea. And I was like, that this could be a career path, but I had always been passionate about doing something I loved. Whatever I was going to pick for work, I wanted to love it. And so I was like, well, I love this. You know how when you're on this path of discovering what do you want to do, and people ask you that question, what do you do that, you know, you lose track of time in, you forget to eat or something like that. And
right.
yeah. And I am reading, like I would always be reading or talking about the law of attraction. I never get tired of that. And so and I was like, okay, great. And then the rest is history. And my path here in teaching has just continued to evolve and become deeper and really more transformational in the coaching. And that's my story.
I absolutely love that. So, so when you read the book by Abraham Hicks, you were in Australia for a reason. Did you start being clear about what you were backpacking for, what you wanted to attract in your life? Did it start you in that path?
You know, the biggest thing that I started to practice was just paying attention to what I was thinking and how I was feeling, because that's like such a foundation, right, to all this. And basically building this internal awareness of what was going on, because when we do that, then we know what's going on in our vibration. And then I would just start to notice how things were matching and lining up. So when I woke up and I felt really good and I was walking along the beach and feeling happy, and I was like, oh, you're thinking about how good life is. And then you feel happy. Okay, so there's that connection. And then I would, like, you know, find $1 on the ground, or I would run into and have a really nice conversation with someone. So I just started to pay attention and notice how this is at play and this works in our life. And that was, I think, the biggest shift I made before I really started to try to do anything. And I've never really been like, just personally, I've never really been like a trying to manifest things. I really powerful, like I really love the idea of an experience. I've always wanted everything. So I've always wanted like the dream life. I don't just want the person or just want the car or whatever. I just feel like we're here to live such a full life and a full experience.
So you enjoyed the journey to getting, you know, what you want. But yes, so
as much as possible.
I mean, like, you enjoyed the journey. Now, you mentioned Dwayne Dwyer in the beginning, and one of Dwayne Dwyer's biggest teaching, well, one, he does the law of intention. I mean, the power of intention, which is basically the same thing as the law of attraction. But he also talks about you've got to feel good. So he also talks about feeling good. And when you know you're feeling good is when you know your vibration is good and all that. So
Yeah.
that's the feeling good part of it. But
He
yeah,
he has a book called Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. I don't know if you, and that's exactly it. Change your thoughts, change your life.
Exactly, by feeling good. Yes, I love that. Right. Yeah.
What about you? How did you kind of get introduced to this?
Well, I got introduced, Deepak Chopra was my first kind of, well, I shouldn't say that. Robin Sharma was the monk who sold his Ferrari is my first entry into my first entry into self-improvement. But he didn't talk anything about that. It was a different kind of book. He was talking about willpower. He was talking about diet. He was talking about those type of things. And then I happened to Deepak Chopra, who talked about synchronicity and I think he had the 7 spiritual laws and things like that.
Yeah.
But then I bumped onto Abraham Hicks and the vortex. I have stuff in my vortex that I need to come through. So yeah, I was big on that. And what did she talk about? Law of attraction, the vortex, and feeling good, and your vibrations, and yeah, she's big on the vibrations. So let's transition into that. You talk about leveraging your vibrational power and using vibrational energy for manifestation. Now, you mentioned that you weren't very big in manifestation, but when you're teaching or you're being a law of attraction coach to your clients, I'm pretty sure that they want to manifest stuff. So that's where that comes in, right? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. And one of the keys I find to manifesting some of the bigger things in life is finding that balance of the wanting what you want, allowing that desire, and being happy and feeling good where you're at.
Yeah.
Right. It's this really tricky, because if we get too focused on our desires, what starts to happen is we just notice that they're not there. And so we start activating more of the lack energy or the lack vibration, and then attracting more of that. But I think one of the powerful parts is just like we talked about, just knowing we have this power. So it's not the law of attraction's happening. It's happening now, right? In every single human's life, there is the law of attraction at play, the same as the law of gravity. So we're using it no matter if we are aware of it or not, right? And that's the magic, is like just becoming aware of it. There's nothing mysterious or magical we have to do. It's here for us 24/7. And so the more we can pay attention to it, the more powerful it feels for us, because it's already
to explain to someone that's listening that they're attracting whether they're aware of it or not. I mean, I know the answer, but you can, I mean, when you say that, because people don't understand why they're getting all these things in their life that they didn't ask for. But as a law of attraction coach, you know that they are manifesting it from their vibration. So explain that a little bit, right?
Yes, we are manifesting in every moment of every day. And so the law of attraction works by responding to the vibration you're embodying or putting out into the world. So the way I like to think about it is like we're constantly emitting this energy, and the law of attraction is constantly responding by bringing us conditions that match that energy. Now we know what that energy is by how we feel. So we interpret vibration through emotion. And so you're going to attract a condition that is similar to whatever emotion you're feeling. So if you spend a lot of time in anger or frustration, you're going to attract conditions that the condition that feels like the anger or frustration. Right.
Which is why people can never get out of a cycle, because when they start to bring it, they just keep bringing more and more. Right.
Yes. And it is, that's a real thing, is this momentum that builds up. So we will attract frustrating conditions, and then we will look at the condition and then feel bad, and then we'll look at what's next. It's just this cycle. So but I think that's a beautiful thing. Like, until we become aware of that cycle, we have no chance to stop it or to choose something different. So that first thing we can do is just start to become aware of, like, well, what am I getting back? That means I must be putting something out. So, and it works the same the other way. If we're often feeling really carefree and easy and happy and joyful, we will attract happy people, and we'll attract easy traffic and easy flows of traffic, and we'll attract extra abundance and saving money on things and stuff like that, because those conditions are a match to how we're feeling most often.
Yeah. This was not part of the question I was going to ask you, but you said something a minute ago that resonated with me, because I work a lot on my energy. I work a lot on my vibration. I do it every day, several times a day, but mostly I do it in the morning when I walk into the park, because, we know that the park is full of good vibration, it's trees and whatever. And I spend a lot of time trying to clear up my energy and maybe, talk about, to the universe about things that I want. But you just something a minute ago, and it just reminded me that sometimes when you spend too much time on something, you build up resistance. So tell where is the line? How long should we focus on something before it becomes, we start building resistance?
Myrna, this is the tricky part, because this line moves. That's the trick. So depending what's going on in your life, or what side of the bed you wake up on, right? Your focus will either be really, really easy and flowing, or it will be more resistant. And so you only know by how it feels. And this is how my guidance on this, because this is actually a really great question, because a lot of people get stuck on this, is if you're thinking about what you want, and you're thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, and it's not coming, then there's resistance there, no doubt. But you have to pay attention to how you're feeling when you're thinking about the thing you want.
Okay.
How you're feeling when you think about the thing you want, because it's the thoughts that feel good about what you want that are bringing you closer. Okay. But if you're having resistant thoughts, even the thought like, I want that, can have resistance, right? It can be like,
I think I remember some kind of book. It might have been Dwayne Dyer or someone else that talked about that. And as you were talking a minute ago, it just penetrating my thoughts about that. And I don't really remember, but I'm still feeling good. And so I think what they were saying is, if you're right, you're saying, okay, I want this. It's not coming. Maybe you're saying, but maybe it's never going to come, or, that kind of negative thoughts. Or they're saying, okay, like you say, I would like a red Mercedes. And the minute you say you would like a red Mercedes, you immediately have the thought, but I can never afford one. And I can understand that being a resistant thought, and then it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is, if you want a red Mercedes and you see it all the time, and you say, I really want a red Mercedes, and you dream about driving a red Mercedes, and you're still feeling good, you're not resisting it, right?
Correct. So you can think about the red Mercedes, and as long as you're feeling like open and allowing and joyful, and you're like, oh, that's exciting, I love the way that feels, blah, 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 then that's great. But the moment it switches, and this is that line you were talking about, the moment it switches from like, oh, I love the Mercedes and blah, 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 but when will it happen? Then you're like, whoa, okay, time to stop thinking about the Mercedes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Got it. I just wanted to throw that in there, because I want to make sure that I'm not overthinking my my thoughts.
Yeah. Right. Feel it versus think it.
So I should overfeel it and not overthink it. So what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So like, if you're wanting that red Mercedes, and then you realize like, oh, it hasn't like there's a little bit of resistance there because I'm noticing it hasn't come yet. It's better for you to start thinking about something completely different, thinking about walking on the ocean that gives you that same feeling. And that opens the pathway for the red Mercedes to come in. This is one of the misconceptions, is that we think we need to think about the details of everything we want in order to manifest it. We don't need to like obsess about thinking about the details. We do need to obsess about being in that vibration, in that feeling place. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I work on that. I try that. Okay. All right. So how can we leverage law of attraction to manifest our dreams and desires? We talked a little bit about this right now, but are you talking here about the vortex, or is the same feeling good as we've been talking about here?
Yeah. I kind of give 3 like really simple steps, and this, we can talk more about them, but the first thing is to ask yourself that question. I'm sure everyone's familiar with it. What do I really want? You know, so let's say, what do I really want? I really want that red Mercedes. Well, what does it feel like? This is number 2. What does that feel like when you're driving in it? What does that feel like? And so what you're doing is you're identifying the vibration that you think that thing will get you. And so now step number 3 is feeling that way, activating the feeling that you want. So we tend to think the car is going to bring us the feeling, but when we're leveraging the law of attraction, we have the power to activate the feeling, and then the law of attraction can bring us the steps that bring us the car.
Right. Yes.
So how would you say that it feels to be driving in that red Mercedes?
Well, I visualize it. I visualize my hand on the steering wheel. I visualize the smells. I visualize the sound that's coming through the radio. I visualize maybe you driving down a road and it's a convertible and the wind is blowing in your hair and all that. So you visualize that. But what you're saying is that you've got the third step is. But
wait, what's the emotion
it.
there?
Okay.
What's that emotion when you're visualizing all that? What are you feeling?
Good.
No? What's good? That's good. Is it like freedom? Is it joy? Is it abundance? Or is it happiness, contentment? Like what's the emotion there?
Well, my emotion would be abundance, success,
yes.
joy, and that kind of thing. Right.
Yes.
Right.
So then that's what you take into step 3. So you want the car, because this is a thing in the law of attraction. We always only want the thing because of how we think it's going to make us feel.
Right.
Yes. So when we identify the feeling, now we can go straight to it. Now we can start feeling that success on purpose, and we start directing our thoughts to make us feel successful. And then the car can come in because we're in alignment with the feeling. Success.
Yeah. I hear everybody talk about that. They're not necessarily saying it's law of attraction. But most of the coaches talk about, that you've got to walk in whatever it is that you want. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's the same thing, right?
That's another fun thing about the law of attraction is it is everywhere in all of the teachings, everywhere. It's in the Bible. It's just not always called the law of attraction.
It's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's all the same.
In the Bible, it's called faith.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
Yes, in prayer or whatever. Yeah. So okay. So that's good. I like that. So if I were to repeat, what is it that you want? What does it feel like? And then activate that same feeling. So that's good.
Yeah.
I love that. All right.
And then what you can do is even think of one thing you do to activate that feeling. So for step number 3, what's something I can do where I feel successful? Oh, well, I can pay a bill. That feels whatever it is to you. That feels successful. I
Right,
have the
right,
money to pay this. I'm
right.
successful. And you acknowledge, oh, I'm being successful right now. And that is you activating that energy inside you, that vibration.
That's good. I like
Yeah.
that. That is a very important step.
Yeah.
As we were, talking before we started recording about what I want my listeners to take away from our conversation. And what I want them to take away from the conversation is that you can design your life in such a way that you co-create what you want.
Yeah.
You don't always have to, like we're talking, I mean, Ginny's saying that you're manifesting and the law of attraction is working for you, even though you're not aware of it, because, it's working on your negative feelings and negative thoughts, and you're bringing things to you, and it's making you feel more bad. But if you can, do something simple as what she said, where you want a home, where you want a relationship, where you want something that you're asking God for, or the universe, and you feel you're walking in it right now, where, some way that you can activate it in, paying a bill, or maybe feeling good in a nice dress, because all that, you know what I mean? You put on, a lot of us spend, not me, but a lot of people spend a lot of money on designer bags and designer clothes. And the feeling that I think that they're trying to get is that they're wealthy. You know what I mean? So you can, you
Or
can
just that they
activate it by
feel
just that, right?
beautiful. Yeah,
What was that?
absolutely. It,
Yeah.
like, sometimes like having very expensive things gives people a feeling of like beauty or just value, and that's a great feeling too. Acknowledging that, I think one of the important parts of acknowledging that the feeling is coming from inside you, that conditions don't give us feelings. They activate the feeling in you, but it's happening in you.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that allows us to really like own our emotions, because we are responsible for all of our emotions and how we're feeling.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, good pointers too, that material things don't bring us happiness.
Only
It's got to
temporary.
come.
It sure seems like they do, but it's temporary.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's again, you know, as we're talking, and then we're, we're hitting on some of the principles. But yeah, it's only temporary. So yeah, I mean, if we were going to go deeper, yeah, into law of attraction, you want to attract things to you. You want to attract, maybe the fruits of the spirit, which is joy, happiness, peace, harmony, those type of things. And when you feel those things, then the abundance is going to come to you. It's kind of the way to, to do it from the inside out kind of thing. Because once you
Exactly.
feel those things, the other things are going to come to you. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah. And the beauty is we don't need anything outside of us. I like how you put that, to feed the vibration we want inside us. All we need is our thoughts. And we have our thoughts. So we can choose thoughts that feed the feeling of abundance or the feeling of joy and peace inside of us. We don't have to have anything outside of us in order to build this feeling inside of us.
No, it doesn't. But the
Yeah.
way the universe works is that what you were just saying, that when you feel those things, then the law of attraction matches it to the other things, and then you bring the things that you want, the wealth and abundance to you, because you feel good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love what you touched on. You said something about the law of attraction working for you on your negative emotions and your positive emotions.
Right.
And it's so true. So the law of attraction doesn't play favorites. This is the thing. It doesn't actually want what's good for you. It just responds to your vibration. So it's not like it's not pulling you one way saying, hey, this is your path, come here. That's not the law of attraction. I mean, you have there's a part of you doing that, but the law of attraction only operates in this physical world and is just responding. So it doesn't care if you feel happy about this or sad about this, it's just going to respond to how you feel about something.
Vibration.
Yeah.
All right, so that's true. And that's because of the vibrations. Maybe we should dig a little deeper into, you know, what does a vibration alignment mean and why is it so important?
Yeah, that's great. So like we talked about a little bit, or we touched on, is that a vibration is just energy. It's just like electricity, right? It's energy. And we interpret vibrations through our emotions. So there's an emotional scale. So the same as there's a frequency scale of energy, you know, from measured in hertz, from 0 hertz to 1,000 hertz or something like that. Our vibration is very similar. It's just a measure of that frequency. And so there's low frequencies and there's high frequencies, and our emotions match up. So our lower frequency emotions are those like fear and guilt and sadness. Our higher frequency emotions are the happiness, the joy, the hopefulness, those kind of things.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so when we're always going to be in alignment, meaning that if we have sad, blame thoughts or low vibration, you're going to attract more of those to you. When you have higher vibrations, you're going to attract more of those things to you, right?
Yeah.
So how do we, and I know that our vibrations comes from what we feel, correct?
Our vibration, how we feel is our interpretation of the vibration going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, for instance, I was reading something the other day and it made me aware that every single thing is vibrating at an energy, like the walls in your house,
Yes.
the bed that you sleep in. You know what I mean? Now that when I go to the park, I sit on rocks because the rock is vibrating and I'm somehow trying to blend. I don't know what I'm doing, but
you're tuning into like the life energy, like that's the source. That's why we feel so good in nature, because nature is connected to source, right? That talking about alignment is when our emotions are like in alignment with our God self, like our source self, that non-physical part of us. And so when there's alignment between how we're thinking and feeling and that other part of us, now we have access to that. So nature, animals, they stay in this mostly connected place. That's why we love to be around them. They're just unconditional love pouring through. That's why it feels so peaceful to be in nature, is because we're literally surrounded by these vibrations that are all in alignment.
Okay, so that's good. So
yeah, that's good.
I'm laying on my rock. I'm connecting to source. I love it.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
Okay, awesome. All right. So you wrote a book that's called A Championed Mindset. And it talks about the teaching of Abraham Hicks. So you want to get into that now? I know that your first book that you read from Abraham Hicks was regarding emotions, but she also talks about the vortex and things like that. So tell us about your book.
Yeah, well, my book, it was really exciting to write. It's kind of like I remember going through it and coming up with the content for it and the outline. It was like, what do I want the world to know? Like, I just want people to know that they have the power to create their reality. That's available for everyone, no matter where you are, where you're starting, your past, anything. We all have this capacity. And so my book kind of just like goes over the basics of how to start leveraging this and applying it in your life. So just like I said, those 3 steps are in there, and there's like a process that walks you through what's going on, how to start paying attention, and just gives you this understanding. I think one of the biggest things for me that allowed me to step into my power was just knowing how and why I was creating my reality. And so that's what a champion mindset is really about, is like helping you understand so that you can be the champion of your own life.
Yeah, I love that. Yes. Champion's mindset, right? Of course, this show is all about, transforming your mind. So yeah, this is perfect, conversation regarding, transforming your mind, and the fact that, yeah, you create your own reality. In fact, my original tagline was that, become a co-creator and design your life, and create your reality. Because I mean, a lot of people think that things just happen to them, but they don't even realize that they're creating those things all the time, and it's from your feelings and your emotions. So it's very important to understand. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's one of the.
What was that?
I think that's one of the biggest shifts that happens, like as you start to learn about the law of attraction and how it all exists, is you go from this place of being a victim, and not in a bad way, but just feeling like life is happening to us, like we're the victim. It even pops up for me now every once in a while when I forget, oh yeah, you can change how you feel about this. Like, whether it's the traffic or the weather, like we have all these preconceived ideas about this is happening to me, but we have to really, really remember we are the co-creators of this. Like, we get to work with life. That life isn't just an accident. It's not just happening to us. And so we go from this place of victimhood to this place of empowerment, and the freedom that comes from that. And like, this is what also on a global scale, like we need empowered individuals in order for our world to become more peaceful, We need to know that we're responsible, and that what that person doesn't have to affect my reality, and what they think or do doesn't have to affect my life, that I can focus and manage and influence my own reality, my own creation.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. Like I said, the law of attraction is foundational. It's great. And I love talking about it. Because yes, you are creating your own reality, regardless if you recognize it or not.
It's a lot more fun when you do recognize it.
Exactly, right. Yes, when you recognize it, and you're talking about freedom, but being able to manifest something that you think that you created is also very liberating and beautiful, and a high 10 as far as on the emotional scale, right?
Yeah, to know it's a really fun process. Like, the more you get into this, to like see what you wanted have manifested in your life. Like, if you ask me, it happens more and more the longer I get into this. But 5 years ago, everything that I had like scripted out about how my life is real. Like, it's all, and it didn't feel like hard work. It didn't feel like any massive thing happened. It just gradually happened, one little bit at a time. And so it's so very possible. And it just happens. It's just this consistent, gradual manifesting, and you get to create your life experience.
Yes, it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us where they can pick up a copy of your book. Everybody knows it's on Instagram. Amazon.
On Amazon.
But yeah, what's your website? What's your social media handles? And connect with you.
I love to hang out on Instagram, and it's just my name, Ginny Gane, Ginny Gane. You can send me a message, say hello, and that's the same as my website, ginnygane.com, and everything's all there.
Okay. Well, that's super easy.
Super easy, yeah.
That's super easy. Well, listen, Ginny, it's been a wonderful conversation. I love your content. I love what you do, and I'm glad that you were, you just happened onto it by your parents telling you to. We didn't get into that, but is your parents, why did they tell you to get that book? Are they in the self-improvement space?
Definitely. Yeah. My whole life, they've been reading the books and practicing. And I think they really
Nice.
wanted to be good examples of parents. And so they were very intentional of that. Actually, at home, I was just at home for Christmas and they said, they were laughing because they're like, we were so good when you and your brother were kids. And now as soon as you left the house, now we're just gone to, let it all go.
Well, they did their job and they did it wonderfully well.
They did their job, yeah.
So yes, all right, yeah. So very good conversation. Enjoyed the topic. Thank you so much for coming on the Transform Your Mind, Transform Your Life to share your wisdom with us. So yes, anyone that's listening and watching, if you want to get a transcript of my conversation with Ginny, then head over to the show page, which is blog.myhelps.us. And you will also see links there to her Amazon page, as well as her, Instagram handle. So thanks again, Ginny, for hanging out with us today. Any last words before we wrap up?
Thank you so much for having me. And I would say to anyone listening, a great place to start is just to start paying attention to what am I thinking about and how am I feeling? And that it'll all come from there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
What am I thinking about and how am I feeling? Yes. Excellent way to end the show.
Thank you so much.
Well, thanks again, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life. If you haven't done so already, please remember to rate and review us. If you're watching this or listening to this on iTunes, and as I bring you quality guests to Ginny every week. So thanks again for tuning in. Until next time, namaste.